Hello everyone. If you're watching this video, it's because I'm your professor or I'm helping out the graduate student part-time instructor who's teaching your course. My name is Dr. Heather Warren Crow. I'm a professor here at Texas Tech University, and today I'm here to talk to you about globalization and the arts. Okay, let's start with this. Imagine something. Imagine you're at an evening cocktail party on the banks of the gorgeous Mara River in Kenya. Everybody there except for the employees is an American like you. You're drinking champagne, the sun's going down, waiters are serving food. While you eat and you get drunk off the champagne, employees of the Kichwa Tembo Safari Camp dance for you, grabbing you by the hand to get you to dance with them. You shuffle awkwardly. You're not a great dancer, but okay. They also sing two songs. One is called Jambo Bwana. The other is a reggae version of Kumbaya. You eventually collapse onto your folding chair in sheer exhaustion, tired but happy, after a full day of taking pictures of safari animals on the Masai Mara National Reserve. So this imagined experience is based on a real thing, a description of a tourist experience at the Kichwa Tembo Safari Camp from 1999. Today, we're going to use this experience as a window into practices of globalization and their relationship to the arts. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to define the terms globalization, transnational, cultural tourism, mega musicals, and McTheater. You will know about the Silk Road, the Kichwa Tembo Safari Camp, and the Sundowner Party. So the lecture has three parts. The first deals with some general information about globalization. You may know some of that already. The second deals with the party at the Kichwa Tembo camp that I described earlier. And the third takes one reference from that party, just one reference, The Lion King, and really digs into its relationship to globalization. All right, first things first, let me give you some definitions. Globalization refers to the social, cultural, and economic changes brought about by the increase in the transnational movement of products, services, knowledge, artworks, and art forms, as well as people. So I know that's a lot of words, it's a mouthful, but there's reasons for being really specific in this language. I'm going to repeat it. Globalization refers to the social, cultural, and economic changes brought about by the increase in the transnational movement of products, services, knowledge, artworks, and art forms, as well as people. So most importantly, changes, transnational movement of a bunch of stuff. All right, so transnational just means across national boundaries, as you would imagine. Although the word globalization was not coined until 1930, the processes it refers to aren't unique to the 20th and the 21st centuries. We can even call the Silk Road a facilitator of globalization. The Silk Road was a trade route across Central Asia that connected China and Europe in the Middle Ages. The transatlantic trade route linking Europe, Africa, and the New World through the enslavement and murder of Africans is another early example of globalization. So we know that cultures and nations have been mixing, buying things from each other, exploiting each other, etc. for a super long time. But the late 19th century saw a rapid increase in the movement of goods and people across national boundaries. And why do you think the late 19th century was that shift point? Well, the rapid change was due in part to improvements in transportation and communication technologies. Later, airplanes further boosted the number of people and goods that could circulate globally, as well as the speed of that circulation. Media technologies also facilitate globalization. So cinema, radio, TV, video, the internet, all have increased the rate at which goods and ideas can circulate and the amount of things that can cut across national borders. Perhaps what's new about modern and contemporary globalization is the scale of the changes brought about by intercultural exchange, not the fact that cultures were engaging with each other. So the media have also fueled something called cultural tourism. What's that? Well, it's what you think it is. It means the circulation of people for the purpose of experiencing the arts, food, and/or other cultural expressions of a given country. Cultural tourism can bring about a kind of global consciousness, so the sense of global interconnectedness that can arise when people travel to another country. I don't know how much traveling you've done, but I know I've felt that. Of course, cultural tourism also distributes money from one country to another, although the extent of this redistribution of wealth under global capitalism is hotly debated and certainly context specific. The experience I described at the beginning of this lecture at the Quechua Tambo Safari Camp is one of cultural tourism. The arts, in this case specifically music and dance, are central to the experience, just as important as the safari animals that the American tourists came to photograph. So we're going to use this experience of cultural tourism as a case study to help us understand the impact of globalization on the expression and consumption of the arts. Before I continue, I want you to fill out a worksheet to be uploaded as an assignment to this module. The worksheet is about a cocktail party at the Quechua Tambo Safari Camp. The instructions for how to fill out the worksheet are on the worksheet itself. Please pause this video here and do the assignment. So definitely don't watch the end of the video until you've done the assignment. You'll need to have done the worksheet. Once you've finished the worksheet, turn this video on again when you're done. All right. Okay, I'll have a drink. Hold on. All right, so you should be done with your worksheet. The worksheet you just filled out refers to a tourist party and performance that took place in 1999. It was discussed in an article in 2001 and a book from 2005. The reason I'm mentioning these dates is really just to show that I don't know whether the party is done exactly the same way now. The last reference to this was in 2005, but I think I can assume that it's done quite similarly. It's likely that they're similar. So the author who wrote about the Sundowner, Eric Bruner, has this to say about the party. This is a quote. I think it's super interesting. Quote, "What is new is not that transnational influences are at work, that a song or an aspect of culture flows around the globe. Nor is it new that a global image of African tribesmen is enacted for foreign tourists. What is new is that at the Sundowner, the Americans, who have presumably made the journey in order to experience African culture, instead encounter American cultural content that represents an American image of African culture. The Americans, of course, feel comfortable and safe as they recognize this familiar representation and respond positively, for it is their own." End quote. Okay, I might point out that it's impossible for there to be one African culture, which is why you should always say African cultures, plural, or in this case, Kenyan culture. But I think his point is well made. Consider the different areas of the world represented here in this one party. So that is what you discovered by doing the worksheet. The party is at a camp that's in Kenya, but we've got references to Jamaica, the American South, Great Britain, amongst other areas of the world that you have listed on that worksheet. What may seem to be an authentic Kenyan performance is a mishmash of different cultural and geographic references that feel African to the American tourists, while also feeling utterly familiar since it comes from American and globalized media culture. All right, so now I want to spend some time with what is maybe the most widespread, popularized American image of Africa, and that is the Lion King. The Lion King is an amazing microcosm of the forces of globalization. It's also one of the primary places where Americans have gotten a fantasy of an African safari, an idea that might encourage Americans to go visit a place like the Quechua Tambo Safari Camp in the first place. So I didn't see it, but American director Jon Favreau directed a remake of The Lion King that came out in 2019. I'm really curious. I definitely want to see it. If you send me an email about something else and you've seen the movie, definitely tell me how it was and if you liked it. I'm curious. So the original Lion King movie is from 1994. This 1994 Disney animated feature, which may have been a big part of your childhood, I don't know, has elements stolen from a Japanese anime cartoon called Kimba the White Lion, if you didn't know about that. Okay, so there's a stage musical version of The Lion King too. It's directed by American Julie Taymor, and it's from 1997. This musical, The Lion King, is the highest grossing theatrical production of all time. Let me repeat that, the highest grossing theatrical production of all time. I haven't seen this production either, but I do own a beautiful coffee table book with pictures of the puppets from the show. I used to be a puppeteer in a former life, so I love Julie Taymor's puppets. Please Google them. They're beautiful. So, okay, anyway, back to the matter at hand. The Lion King, the stage version, is what's called a mega musical. It was created to be a blockbuster, a global blockbuster, building off of the global appeal of the Disney movie. It's got grand, spectacular sets and costumes and was created to have a really long run and to make a huge profit. Mega musicals are also called McTheater, which is a play on McDonald's, of course. So the question is, what might The Lion King have to do with McDonald's? So let's start here. What was revolutionary about McDonald's, the restaurant chain, to begin with? Okay, think about it for a second. The first is assembly line production, right? So it made food fast, standardized, and highly automated, allowing a Big Mac to taste pretty much the same anywhere, at least anywhere in this country. It's the success of McDonald's is also related to the franchise system. A business that's a franchise licenses its name and its ways of doing things to a series of individuals. McDonald's ways of making its food, its suppliers, etc. were licensed and are licensed to ensure that all of the McDonald's do things in the same way and the food tastes the same. Although if you want to get into details, foreign McDonald's seem a little different to me, and there's some different menu items internationally. But at least within this country, Big Macs taste the same anywhere. So the franchise system is precisely how the mega musical functions. When you get the rights to a mega musical, you don't just get the script and the music, you also get the sets and the costumes and the branding too. The sets are highly automated to help ensure that performers do exactly what other performers have done. Performers are also mic'd in mega musicals, so they sound as much like the album as possible. The Lion King has been produced on Broadway in New York, in Hamburg, Germany, and in other cities such as Minneapolis, Tokyo, Mexico City, Shanghai, Sydney, Las Vegas, Singapore, Paris, etc. So the story, the spectacle, the album, the branding are the stars of a mega musical. The actors don't matter much. Producer Cameron McIntosh called the musical Les Miserables actor-proof, meaning actors didn't matter. The show would be successful regardless of the performance. So if a mega musical looks the same anywhere, from US to Australia, we could say the mega musical is the most globalized of all types of theater. The mega musical is McTheater. Okay, think about that for a second. My lecture is drawing to a close, but I want you to consider these questions. Is it fair to call the mega musical the fast food of theater? What differentiates the two, mega musicals and fast food, if anything? If you do think it's fair, is McTheater a bad idea? Is McTheater cultural imperialism, meaning the domination by, in this situation, Western English-speaking cultures? Or instead, does McTheater bring high-quality theater to areas of the world or cities that might not otherwise have those productions? So that's all I have for today. Be sure to follow the instructions in the module carefully. Email me if you have any questions. All right. Later.